great folly
even to try. For no instruction aiming at an ideal contrary to the training they give has ever produced, or ever will produce, a different type of character, on the level, that is to say, of common humanity. One must always make an exception of the superhuman, and you may be sure that, in the present state of society, any character that escapes and comes to good can only have been saved by some miraculous interposition.
I quite agree.
Then I hope you will agree also to this. Every one of these individuals is teaching nothing else than the opinions and beliefs expressed by the public itself when it meets on any occasion, and that is what he calls wisdom. It is as if the keeper of some huge and powerful creature should make a study of its moods and desires, how it may best be approached and handled, when it is most savage or gentle, and what makes it so. The meaning of its various cries and tones of voice that will soothe or provoke its anger, and having mastered all this by long familiarity, should call it wisdom, reduce it to a system, and set up a school, not in the least knowing which of these humors and desires is good or bad, right or wrong. He will fit all these terms into the fancies of the great beast and call what it enjoys good and what vexes it bad. It would be a queer sort of education that such a person would offer, would it not?
That is so.
And is there anything to choose between him and one who thinks it is wisdom to have studied the moods and tastes of the assembled multitude, either in painting and music or in politics, and do a poem really good?
No, and I do not expect to hear one.
Now, with all this in mind, recall the distinction we drew earlier between beauty itself and the multiplicity of beautiful things. Is it conceivable that the multitude should ever believe in the existence of any real essence, as distinct from its manifestations, or listen to anyone who asserts such a reality?
Assuredly not.
If that is so, the multitude can never be philosophical.
That is clear.
What hope can you see, then, that a philosophic nature should be saved to persevere in the pursuit until the goal is reached? Remember how we agreed that the born philosopher will be distinguished by quickness of understanding, good memory, courage, and generosity. With such gifts, already as a boy he will stand out above his companions, especially if his person be a match for his mind. And when he grows older, his friends and his fellow citizens will no doubt want to make use of him for their own purposes.
Yes, that happens often enough.
What will become of a youth so circumstanced, above all if he belongs to a great country and is conspicuous there for his birth and wealth, as well as for a tall and handsome person? Will he not be filled with unbounded ambition, believing himself well able to manage the affairs of all the world, at home and abroad, and thereupon give himself airs and be puffed up with senseless self-conceit?
No doubt.
So philosophy is left forlorn, like a maiden deserted by her nearest kin. And while these apostates take to a life that is no true life for them, she, bereft of her natural protectors, is dishonored by unworthy interlopers, who fasten on her the reproach you have repeated, that some who have to do with her are worthless, and most of them deserve heavy punishment.
That is what people say.
Naturally enough, when any poor creature who has proved his cleverness in some mechanical craft sees here an opening for a pretentious display of high-sounding words, and is glad to break out of the prison of his paltry trade and take sanctuary in the shrine of philosophy. For, as compared with the other occupations, philosophy, even in its present state, still enjoys a higher prestige, enough to attract a multitude of stunted natures, whose souls a life of drudgery has warped and maimed no less cruelly, surely, than their sedentary crafts have disfigured their bodies. For all the world they have, like some little bald-headed tinker who, having come into some money, has just got out of prison, had a good wash at the baths, and dressed himself up in a new coat as a bridegroom, ready to marry his master's daughter, who has been left poor and friendless. Could the issue of such a match ever be anything but pitiful, base-born creatures? The only right name for them will be sophistry.
Quite true.
So, Adeimantus, of my own case there is little need to speak. The warning of the divine sign, I dare say, has come to few men, if any, before me. But that, like a man fallen among wild beasts, if he should refuse to take part in their misdeeds, and could not hold out alone against the fury of all, he would be destined, before he could have any service to his country or his friends, to perish, and when the end comes, take his departure with good hope, in serenity and peace.
Surely that would be no small achievement.
Yes, but far less than he might achieve if his lot were cast in a society congenial to his nature, where he could grow to his full height and save his country as well as himself.